we got a major update on a pitcher who is going to begin the 2025 season injured. We get into all that. Also, another reason why the Dodgers signed Kirby Yates. We get into all that in this edition of Dodgers Digest. Hey, this is Mike Nelson. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 28% of the ones who are watching these videos who have already hit the sub button, but 71% of you have not subscribed yet. You know, myself and Brad J, we're bringing you everyday Dodger content. You're not going to find content like this anywhere else. We're the best Dodger channel out there, so make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into it. Of course, the Dodgers provided a major update on Michael Kopech, who's going to begin the 2025 season injured. Of course, the Dodgers reportedly agreed to a deal with Kirby Yates, and one of the reasons why the Dodgers went out and got Kirby Yates, well, was because the Dodgers knew that Michael Kopech was going to, miss some time due to that right forearm inflammation. The Dodgers, of course, are now aware of, and Michael Kopech, it was an important piece for the Dodgers last year during the 2024 World Series run. As we know, the Dodgers traded for Michael Kopech. Let's not forget the Dodgers got him from the Chicago White Sox. And at the time, the Dodgers got a pitcher that was really struggling to start off the 24 season. But he came to the Dodgers, and it was a completely, change, right? It was basically night and day what we saw from Michael Kopech in comparison to what he was doing with the Chicago White Sox, right? He completely changed his entire game, and the rest was basically history. But Michael Kopech did struggle at the end, right? We did see Michael Kopech kind of go through some struggles, as the season went along. And, the Dodgers GM Brandon Gomes gave an update on Wednesday on Michael Kopech, talking about what's going on. He said that he's throwing and playing catch. We're going to see how he progresses. I don't think there's any concern at this point, which is obviously good news to say the least, because the Dodgers are, sure that this guy is going to be coming back, and it's not, it's not a cause for concern, right? Fabian Ardaya and Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic also reported that Kopech pitched through some discomfort during the postseason, which is, of course, something that kind of makes sense, right? Why, Michael Kopech was kind of struggling there during the playoffs, right? It kind of now makes sense that he wasn't really at 100% during the 2024 playoffs due to his injury, right? So what do you guys think? Comment below. Kirby Yates, who the Dodgers still hasn't been official yet, right? Kirby Yates, I believe, still has not passed that physical yet. I don't know if it's been done or not. We haven't heard anything from the Dodgers since they reportedly came to an agreement. Of course, we're waiting to hear some official word from Kirby Yates and that, but it seems like hopefully the Dodgers are going to lock that up, and as we know, the Dodgers would have him on the team. But the Dodgers went out and got Kirby Yates because of the Michael Kopech injury. It seems like that is the main reason why they went out and got him, because Michael Kopech is probably going to start, the season, on the shelf, right? He's not going to be healthy to start off the year. The Dodgers are not going to rush him back. They do not want to, rush back a pitcher that is going to be key for them, during this year, right? And I think it's something that, as we go to the next story in a bit, but I think it's something that, the Dodgers are, excited to have, once again, a very competitive bullpen, right? I mean, the Dodgers had the best bullpen last year. Maybe not statistically during the regular season, but at the end of the day, the Dodgers bullpen won the World Series for the Dodgers, right? I mean, the Dodgers would have never beat the San Diego Padres if it weren't for the bullpen, right? I mean, they basically were the reason why they were able to get that done. And, in an elimination game, a game where the Dodgers were not supposed to win, without a starting pitcher, the bullpen was there to step up. And then where else was the bullpen? Well, even against the Mets, right? There was moments where the Dodgers had some rough starting pitching. We're going to talk about one of those starting pitchers, Jack Flaherty, who had some rough starts during the playoffs. We got a bit of insight on what's going on with him and his free agency. We'll get into that in a bit, but the Dodgers getting Kirby Yates, I think, is a big deal. I think Michael Kopech is going to be out to start the year. It's probably going to be an extended time, right? Because if they're if they're signing players to already kind of fill his void, I think they know this is going to be something they're not going to rush back. They're just not going to rush, Michael Kopech back. They're just not. They're just not going to do it. And I think that's something that's important, right? I think it's something that I think Dodger fans have to be aware of. The Dodgers are just not going to rush back. A pitcher that could be obviously somebody that's going to be very important in the playoffs, right? Kirby Yates has that playoff experience as well, so I think that's also important. Somebody that's not like he's been on bad teams his whole career, so he knows how it is to pitch for a big team, and I think I think he's going to benefit. The Dodgers will benefit from that and his experience for sure in this season, right? Now let's talk a little bit about Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty still a free agent, right? Still has not yet been signed by anybody. There hasn't been a lot of movement on, what exactly is going on with Jack Flaherty. But we got, Jack Flaherty did an interview with Foul Territory Podcast, and he talked a little bit about, last year, which was a bit surprising what he said, saying he wanted to stay in Detroit, didn't want to get traded. He loved playing there. He thought the combo of me and, Tarek Skubal was incredible. And Jack Flaherty wanted to stay in Detroit despite, getting a chance to play for his hometown team, the Dodgers. He didn't want to leave. Now, he did say also in the interview that, he wants to go back, potentially. It was fun to watch what they did. Of course, talking about the Tigers going to the playoffs. And, we've been talking to them, talking to other teams. It would be fun to go back there. And, of course, like we have talked about here on this channel, multiple times, I just don't think the Dodgers are going to re-sign Jack Flaherty. I really would be surprised if they did. I think it's something that the Dodgers, are, not. They just don't need Jack Flaherty, right? They got Roki Sasaki, they got Blake Snell, they got Tyler Glasnow going to be healthy, and they might even get Clayton Kershaw back on the team too. So they just don't have any room for Jack Flaherty, and I think the idea of him going to the Tigers is pretty likely. And I think the Dodgers would be happy to see him go to the Tigers, right? Get him out of the NL West. I think that would be something that everybody would be happy with. You don't want him going to San Diego or the Giants, right? I don't know what you guys think. Comment below. Do you think there's any possibility that the Dodgers re-sign Jack Flaherty? I mean, is it something the Dodgers can even consider doing? Can they really consider signing Jack Flaherty, or is it already too late, right? Do the Dodgers already have their pitchers kind of in place, the 6-man rotation, right? Ohtani coming in too. I think, I just don't think it's realistic to see Jack Flaherty coming back. I think Walker Buehler, as we know, he's gone, and I think Jack Flaherty is the next guy gone, who of course got a chance to win a World Series, and we wish nothing but the best to Jack Flaherty. And hopefully he goes to Detroit, not a team the Dodgers will have to worry about in the World Series. As always, make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!